Hey guys, so today is Tuesday, what is today? March 22nd. And I just got a call from placement and a little bit of like anxiety rises every time placement phones because you don't know what you're getting. We have been talking lately about opening up our home again, and so I thought we're gonna get this call and we'll have to make some kind of decision. But actually the call was in regards to R2D2 and BB8, and we were informed that they are going back into care tomorrow. And I wanted to document the next little while because we have said yes. I'm gonna try to share without oversharing because I think this sharing our journey can be valuable for people, but I also want to be respectful and like not overshare. So yeah, that's where we're at. I am waiting for some more information. So the way our system works here is we have like a whole department that work in placement. They're the ones that phone foster parents and try to get kids placed with them. And then there's every social worker kind of has like their little niche area that they do. And so I'm currently waiting to hear from a different social worker on like the logistics of how this is going to work. I have to go run some errands. Actually, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. And so I'm going to be really close to where the kids are. And I said I can pick them up afterwards. So I'm waiting to see where things go from here. And I thought I would try to document, this first few days, first week. I'm not sure what this is going to turn into. I'm going to document for a little bit here and bring this video to you. So as of right now, we are like pretty emotional in this house. It's like so many different emotions. This morning, Ephraim told me that he just wishes life was back to normal. And I said, what is normal? And he said, summer, COVID was gone, and R2 and BB8 were back. And well, he's getting them coming back. The weather tomorrow is supposed to pretty much be like summer here. So, I mean, he's getting what he wants. But at the same time, there's all these things like, oh yeah, our house isn't really like baby proof anymore. Not that BB8 is that much of a baby. She's 19 months now. But like lots of things that we've kind of changed up in the last while. I had to order a new bed and all sorts of different things. So we're kind of scrambling, trying to get a bunch of stuff done before they come because who knows how this first little stretch is going to be. Trying to get back into routine, trying to help maybe get over some trauma and all the different things. So I'll try to check in once a day-ish here for the next little while and share how things are going. I have heard from the social worker and there's a plan in place for me to go pick up R2 and BB8 tomorrow at a certain time. The only thing is I'm going to do it, but I don't feel comfortable with this situation because birth family is not knowing that this is happening. They're off doing something and I'm coming and taking their children. And I feel like we have a relationship. I don't like the idea of kind of like, it feels like stabbing them in the back. Like they're fine when we're taking care of the kids and stuff like that, but this is so sneaky and I feel bad like I'm the person doing the sneaking when I'm just doing what I've been told to do. But I'm definitely not keen on how this is being handled, and maybe there is a reason for it. I don't even know all the details, but I'm not a big fan of the way this is being approached. I feel like there could have been some kind of better way. We'll see how tomorrow goes. Okay, so I didn't get a chance to check in yesterday and I just have like a minute or two right now. But yesterday I ended up picking up R2 and BB8 from daycare and I'd never been there before. And obviously they weren't expecting me, but things went like even better than I could have imagined when we got in the van. Because I said, let's go in the van and see Reika and Ephraim, because I honestly didn't know who R2 would remember. He kind of like played shy for like a split second with me, and then he came and gave me a hug. But I said, let's go in the van and see Reika and Ephraim. And he got in, he said, no more daycare, I'm going home, daddy, Reika, Ephraim, daddy. And so obviously he remembered a lot and he was really excited to come. They were both really excited to be here and things have gone really well, but like the transition back, it's like we had a routine but now we got to get back into it. They're worker came out this morning and brought their clothes. We didn't have anything last night till this morning, and now I'm washing 3 garbage bags full of clothes and then have to sort through, find out what fits, etc. And we had a bunch of stuff up today because I had a bunch of plans before they came back, and everything went decently well. Sleep last night was really good for R2. BB-8 struggled a little bit more, but I think she'll get back into her routine. It's been longer since she's been here. It's been 4.5 months, I think, now. So it's been a while. But things are going really well. We're going to be really tired for the next few days. And I will hopefully check in tomorrow with a bit of a longer update. But I wanted to like say a few things before I forgot. Oh yeah, and then when we got home yesterday, pulled into the garage, Ephraim came into the garage, and R2 says, "Ephraim, I come back." And he was just like, "Here I am. I was coming back. Here I am." And it was just really sweet. And oh, one more thing. And then yesterday, R2 kept playing and doing a little bit of stuff, and then he would like come and snuggle with me for a minute, and then he would go do a bit of stuff and come snuggle. So they're both very snuggly kids, and I think that helps a lot with transitions like this, because it's like a bonding thing, right? Attachment. So I think that works really well. And now I gotta go do stuff, but hopefully I can check in a little bit more tomorrow. Okay, so it's Friday and like the exhaustion is setting in. Okay, so the last 2 days have been crazy busy because we had things planned. Like I said, we had 2 social worker visits. So yesterday's was kind of like the kids social worker / birth family social worker. They actually had information and it was helpful. Today's was my social worker, but like I've talked about before, there's been like rearranging going on in that whole department, and our social worker moved to a different place in November, and she's now the person that phones for placement. So she's the one that phoned us on Tuesday to offer us this placement. And then we got a new worker in December, but she apparently we never actually met her. She was supposed to come and then she had to cancel and she never came. She was apparently only in that area for 2 weeks before she moved to a different area. So the person that came this morning is the assistant supervisor of this unit, and he said he's been doing this since September, and it's just been chaos. They're down 2 workers in their unit, so he's just doing everybody's job a little bit, like here and there, kind of covering for 2 full people. And he even said 3 weeks after he started in September in the assistant supervisor role, one that he'd never done before, the supervisor moved to a different position. So then he was filling in for the supervisor. And like, I don't blame the system for not working when you can't keep people in different positions. And I don't blame people for not staying in their positions because it would be a hard job. But oh man, it makes everyone's life so much harder when people are constantly moving around. Anyway, I think things are going pretty well. Bedtimes have been pretty amazing. Yeah, I feel like we've kind of like just gone back into our groove. Jared tested positive for COVID today, so he's kind of been like out for the last 2 days. He hasn't done much. And I think that either I'm just really exhausted or it's starting for me. So hopefully he's better. If I'm starting to go downhill, hopefully he's gonna be better tomorrow so that we can kind of like tag team here. Yeah, so we had to go out and run some errands today, and R2, I was putting on his shoes, and then apparently these are new shoes, or new to him-ish. He didn't have them when he was with us, is what I'm trying to say. And we were putting them on, and I think they were his daycare shoes, because he's like, "No daycare?" I'm like, "No, we're not going to daycare. We're apparently just wearing daycare shoes, but we're going somewhere else." And he's already asked to see my parents and Jared's parents. He wants to see everybody. He wants to go to church. He wants to see his friends. And because he can be more verbal, he seems really excited to be here. BB-8, she's only 19 months. Not really talking much. I would say has almost regressed since November, which is too bad. There were some words that she was saying that she's not saying now. And maybe we'll understand more. There's only a few words actually she's trying to say. But it's hard to know how she's doing. But I was kind of thinking, just the way she was like, "Yeah, I'll come to you" the other day, kind of made me wonder if she felt that way for everyone. But yesterday the kids had a homeschool book club that we went to, and then I go downstairs with the little ones and they play with some other little ones and I stay down there. And the second we walked in the house, she was like grabbing onto me really tightly and like, don't leave me here alone, which I never have before. She's been there at least once or twice. I don't remember how often we did it before she left. Obviously she either didn't remember it or she was worried I was gonna leave her. And then we went to Costco later after that, and you know when you like push the cart and they take the cart to fill it back up with the stuff, she was really worried when a random person was pushing her cart. So Reika went with her because she was almost crying because I don't know what's going on, even though I was like not very far. So I thought maybe she was just gonna go with anyone, but apparently she is more comfortable with us than I realized. She gave Jared so many hugs on Wednesday. It was really cute. She just was so excited to see him, and apparently the kids both had COVID a couple of weeks ago, so I'm hoping they should be in the clear here. If it's coming into our house, they shouldn't get sick. Oh, what else? I have no idea where it's going from here. It's mostly we just have to kind of like wait for birth family, see where they go, what they decide, the effort that they put in, and then go from there. It's not really, yeah, that's pretty much what we're waiting for. And from past experience, when these kind of situations occur, then they go AWOL for a while, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, so I think that's a little bit of an update. I'm surprised at how well it has gone. Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to lose my voice. My throat is really sore, so I'll see how much I update in the next little bit, but this is what's been going on lately. Okay, so I'm feeling a lot better than yesterday. I think I just got really, really tired there in the evening, and then having someone else sick in the house, you get paranoid, like, are you coming down with something? And also, all my muscles hurt so bad, like my arms and my legs, because BB-8 is not a little girl. And I haven't been carrying her for a few months, and then carrying her up and down stairs, it's like boot camp. And between just the tiredness and the sore muscles, I thought for sure I was coming down with something yesterday, but nope, it's just exhaustion and just soreness. So let's see. I want to skip back to Wednesday because something happened on Wednesday that was really cool that I forgot about / forgot to share here, whatever. I didn't forget about, forgot to share. So how it worked is I went to pick them up from daycare, and then what was supposed to happen is I was supposed to go to their home to get their clothes because the social worker, first of all, said she would bring them the next day, but I was like, we don't have any clothes, can I go pick them up? Because people were getting stuff together, and she said sure. But then I got there and the message hadn't been passed along that I was coming for the clothes, so there was no clothes ready. But while I was there and I was talking to a social worker, finding out that there was no clothes ready, this lady looked down from her balcony and she was like, hey! And it was Buzz and Woody's mom. And so they were our first foster care placement. We only had them for like 3.5 months. We had them right before R2. So it's been over 2 years since they left our home. So she was like, hey, do you want to see Buzz and Woody? Because they still talk about you guys. So she brought them down and I got to see them, which was really cool because, you know, you think about these kids that have been in your care and wonder how it is, and they've been really well and they are so tall. They were almost 2 and just 3 when they came into our care, and now they are like tall boys that are 5.5 and 4, and yeah, so that was really cool to see that things are going well. Got to see them, whether or not they really recognized me, like they might have recognized my kids if my kids had been there, but it was cool to see them, and that was really nice. She said she meant to contact me, but you know, like whatever, she didn't. Life gets in the way. So that was good, and it's just a reminder of like the positive interactions that we have had with birth families. Yeah, that was something I was scared about, or not necessarily scared about, but I was worried. The first time we met her was our first interaction with birth family, and I thought like she's gonna be hostile. Like I wouldn't blame her. I think I would be hostile, you know, someone else parenting my children. And the first time that we met her, she thanked me for looking after her kids when she couldn't. And so like, and all our interactions with birth families have been positive. And yeah, so that was really cool. That happened on Wednesday. So we're kind of at the point now where the honeymoon phase has worn off. Exhaustion is setting in for everybody. Emotions are running high for the most part. Like, this is different than the first time kids come into your home, because they are relatively familiar with our home, especially R2, and like the routines and stuff. BB-8's been longer and she's younger, so she's a little bit more out of it. It's been a little bit rougher for her, I think, especially like sleeping. But even though they are kind of used to this place, it is still like getting used to it. And R2's talking a little bit about birth family, and he's got these ideas in his head as to like what's going on there. And so it's interesting to try to have those conversations on the level with a 3-year-old who's a bit delayed. So you're trying to use vocabulary that they can understand. But he seems very happy to be here. He's not indicating that he wants to leave or anything. He is really asking to see my parents and Jared's parents, and he wants to see all his friends, and he got to see some of them a few days ago, and he keeps talking about those ones. And yeah, so it's been really good. Also just really tiring, really physically exhausting. Oh man, I should probably like have some kind of workout program, but now I don't need one because I've got BB-8. That's my workout program. What else do I need to update? Of course, I remember these things throughout the day, and then I get here and then I forget. I'm not sure. I guess we'll be probably hunkering down a little bit since Jared tested positive for COVID. And I don't know, we'll see if it goes through the rest of the house. I'm not really sure what's happening. But I may check in 1 or 2 more times here yet in this video just to tell you how kind of like the first week goes. Okay, so if Wednesday was day 1 with the kids, we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're on day 5. Let's see, where do I go from here? I was thinking I would talk a little bit about how we, I don't know, like run our home when a new placement comes in / my old placement comes back. And especially in this particular season where we're all kind of getting sick at the same time, one of the things we do is generally just more screen time, especially if we're dealing with different attitudes with kids and stuff. I don't want my other children to feel neglected, but obviously you have to kind of focus more on the foster kids during this time. So one way to make it up to them during these seasons of change here is just to give them more screen time. Give them something that they enjoy, which also entertains them and can also sometimes entertain the foster kids, but it gives me more time to spend with the foster kids. And then because we've kind of been sick on top of it, Jared, I think, is like on the mend. I tested myself yesterday. I am negative, but I'm definitely getting sick. I don't know if this will be a COVID sickness. I often, historically, in times where it's kind of like go, 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 I'm thinking like whenever a few times that Reiko was in the hospital or whatever, I would come down with pneumonia. Like my body is not very physically strong. I actually noticed, so my watch has a body battery. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to this, and I don't really even know how it works. And I do know it's not 100% accurate because I don't wear my watch for a night. So it always thinks I have a great night's sleep where I like don't move at all. But often in the last couple months when I would look at what my body battery was, it would be somewhere between 75 and 80%. I think it kind of goes like the more you move, the more it goes down, the more you sit, the more it goes up. It's kind of like your recharge. And I had still been getting like my step goal, so it's not like I hadn't been moving for the last few months, but it was like walking mixed with a lot of like sitting and reading, sitting and filming, sitting and editing. And a lot of my favorite activities are pretty sedentary. And I noticed my body battery yesterday. By the time I went to bed, it was 17, and I was feeling it. I was just feeling so tired, like so physically tired. And even now, like, yeah, definitely I'm coming down with something. My throat is really sore, and I don't know if it's COVID related, if it's just because of the exhaustion. It's kind of like been single parenting for the last few days while getting a new foster placement. So it's been tiring. But at the same time, I think things are going really well. BB-8 is settling into her naps and to her bedtime better each time. Like it's less difficult for her each time. R2 has been sleeping really well. He falls asleep. He's fallen asleep when I've been in his room each time, and it's less than 5 minutes. He was the kind of kid that used to, I'd need to kind of be in there for a few minutes, and then I would tell him I'd come back, and he would come out of his room a bunch of times. Just needed that reassurance that we were still here. And now he just crashes and has been sleeping really well in the night. I think he's woken up once, and that was because BB-8 started crying, so she woke him up. But usually he just sleeps through the night, so that's been great. And we definitely are dealing with a little bit more emotions, like if one of them gets in trouble for like the littlest thing, it can be very emotionally, I don't know, it can cause a lot of emotions. There can be a lot of crying over a very, very simple thing. Like, you are told that you shouldn't wipe your snotty hand on the couch. We got tears for 5 minutes, that kind of thing. But it's understandable, it's easier to take when you know that like they're just going through so much. And it has nothing to do with wiping a snotty hand and being told no. It just has to do with like all these other emotions that they have that are just coming out. But I think overall this is easier than a first-time placement because they've been here before and they're comfortable. You can tell they're comfortable. It's just that like confusion of we were here for a long time and then we were there for a bit, and now all of a sudden we're here again and we just don't know why, and we don't know how long. There have been a few comments from R2 wondering if he's going away again, like trying in his own words with his limited vocabulary to ask what's going on. And it's, yeah, like I said, I think yesterday, that it's just so hard to figure out how to communicate to him what's going on. Even I don't know what's going on, but then just trying to figure out like how to say what I do know in his vocabulary is difficult. But I think things are going really well, all things considered. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna end this here. If you guys have more questions on like the first week, anything foster care related, let me know. And thank you so much again for your prayers. Would love for you to continue to pray for us, at least for our health, and then also just kind of as we adjust here, and then also R2 and BB-8 with their confusion and trauma and all that they have going on. We really appreciate your prayers.